welcome to another show. It's been a bit of a difficult one, but we're here and we're so happy to be here. It is a Saturday and we have an exciting show planned out for you. Of course, you know, life would not be life if there were no connections and there were no...
I know.
But it's always just a learning lesson for us. So we learn as we go along, right? I just want to welcome all of you if you are just tuning in and apologize for a bit of a late start. You know, I like to be on time, but it was none of our fault. We were both logged in or trying to get logged in at 5:30 so we can make sure that we're ready for the broadcast. But as I like to say, shit always
happens.
Here, and we're ready to give you a show, and we're excited to have this new show for you here today. My guest is already here. She has a little teddy bear in the back. And I hope you have your Cacoa tea too. I know we had like a rough...
I do a big one too.
Oh wow!
Like my grandmother would say, probably a 10 too.
That is a pot.
I know.
That is a big one for sure. But we're ready to go, ready to get started, and I just let me know wherever you're hailing from once you log in. Just drop your flag in the bottom and let us know where you're connecting from. We're happy to have all our fans and our friends and our family who come on every single week on a Cacoa Tea. My name is Jael. For those of you who don't know, if it's your very first time coming on, and I'm happy to be here with you for another show. My bra strap is in the back. I don't know what's going on with it today. It's been a nuisance. We're good to go. We're good to go. I just want to shout out a few people who always connect on the show. Hi, Edifa, all the way in Guadalupe. Etha just locked in. Hope you're doing awesome. So Edifa is waving. I just want to say a special good afternoon to my girl, Kimara Gregoire. And I want to wish her an awesome day. And I also want to say good afternoon to my friend, Bert Gregoire. They both lost their grandmother over the last week. So I want to send out my condolences and send out my love to the two of them and wishing them all the best. Death is, again, part of life.
Part of life, a painful part of life, though.
Yes, it is. It is. And I've been there way too many times. I'm too familiar with it. It's become family, I guess, so to speak. Right? So I just want to send my shout out to them both. I also want to remind you, if you have not yet followed, subscribed, and liked our pages to get a chance to win a costume for Crop Over 2018, that is Barbados. Compliments, sponsors, Capriculture out of Barbados. I want to say good afternoon to the folks out there in Barbados. Capriculture, mwah, kisses to you guys. And want a chance to win a free costume? All you have to do is follow 3 easy steps. All the information is on my website. All the information is also on my Facebook. All the information is on my Instagram. Everywhere you can find me, the information is there. So you can always just log in and follow the directions for a chance to win a free costume. We're going to get straight into the show because we are already so tired. We're going to get into the show. I have the lovely Beverly Leblanc, who is joining me in Dominica, and part of the technical difficulties, she's in an island that was ravaged by Hurricane Maria. So, cut the girl some slack, right?
Thank you very much.
And Beverly is actually the Dean of Student Affairs and International Services at the Dominica State College. A heavy role to hold on to. And she's also the director of the Achievement Learning Center in Dominica. I want to say good afternoon to Barbara Butler, who's logging in, and good afternoon to Prince, who's logging in. I see all your people in education system, they coming on. I don't know if you announced that you were gonna
No,
be
I didn't.
yeah, but they're coming on.
You
So
did that all by yourself. I didn't.
good afternoon to you guys. If you would like to follow Beverly, you can do so. I posted her Facebook link above, so you could just click on there and get in touch with her. You can follow her. If you have any questions for her, I recommend that you do so during the show, so she can answer the questions. Because sometimes it's hard to actually come back, especially with very limited data access from where she is. So please ask your questions early o'clock. If you had questions, you probably saw the picture and you had a question, in your backpack for her. Now is a good opportunity to, put it together and just hit send, so we can ask the question and she can answer and we can get going. Right? It's a lovely day. I'm kind of like worried about wearing my shirt because my son decided that he was going to use my top as a mouche poche,
Oh.
sucking on it, baby. So I was like, boy, I know
How it goes when we have children and then we all dressed to go somewhere and here they go, they wipe their hands on us, they cry. So that's all part of being a mother.
his famous thing to do is vomit.
Oh yeah. Mm.
And he likes to do it on my shoulder when I cannot see it. And then somebody will tell me, you have some vomit on your shoulder.
Oh.
Or it goes down my back and it falls on my bum, and I'm walking around with vomit. Famous thing to do. Beverly is joining us here from Dominica. Of course, we're gonna have a good chat. I like to kind of start off letting people know how I know my guests. And I have practically, or is it the other way around? She practically knows me all my life.
All your life. Yeah, we've known each other for
Yes,
a long, long time.
a very, very long time. Her stepfather and my father were my
Yes.
parents, very, very, very close. I think that was when her stepfather passed away, I think that was the very first time I experienced what
Death.
death is. And I remember I was a child. I was not even a teenager. I remember crying so much and I could not stop. And for days and days and days, I cried and I don't know if it was normal for a child to cry because he wasn't my parent he was my mother or my father, but he was such an essential part of my family.
Yes. Yeah. They were very, very close.
Very, very, very close. I mean, it was like we did not know life without, her stepdad.
Cacoa and AJ.
Oh, yes, yes. And when he passed away, when he died accidentally, it really tore us. It was really heartbreaking. So I've known her, and then it's just so coincidental that she has a daughter, which a lot of people mistake for me,
Yes.
and vice versa.
Stevie and Shelly.
Sometimes when people I don't think we look alike or anything. I just think our mannerisms, and I
That's
do,
it.
I have
Yes.
to add, our mannerisms are very similar. We have the same kind of spirit.
Yep.
It's almost like she is my sister's spirit.
Yes. I think so. Kindred spirit.
Ginger spirit, that's what it is. Because people would meet me. I remember going to Penville, and I was talking to a lady, and the lady goes, Chevy for.
Yep.
They're like, oh my God, you remind me so much of her. And I remember when I met my son's godfather, that is Leonard Bedno. When I met Leo was like, you know who you remind me of? You remind me of Chevy. And I'm like, I think it's the other way around. Because I'm older than her.
You're older.
But we have the similar spirits, and we almost think alike. So
Yes.
it's very weird because we're not even close to say we're people that we talk every day or whatever. We probably talk once or twice a year, if even that. But we are so much alike. So I've
Very,
known.
very much alike. Very much alike. When I see, I'm speaking to you right now, and it's like I'm really speaking to Chevy. The way you speak, I mean, you just
Yeah.
And that's when, I mean, it's not very common that you meet two persons who just have so much alike in them, you know? So,
And
but
it's
that's,
not that we look alike. It's nothing to do with that. It's just the way we behave, the way we speak, our
the
manners.
personality and everything.
Yes, it's very, very, very similar, and a little too similar. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, when you were pregnant, you were watching me too much, as a little child.
I
So
was coming on when I was I think I looked at you a lot when you were growing up as a little girl.
mm,
And or because I don't think you were around when I was pregnant, and we were not really at that time. I was in Roseau. I had already left Penville,
mm,
so and probably you were already in Canada.
mm,
But I suppose somewhere along the line, you just got connected. But you all are Siemens, and I probably just again you are related by
mm.
the Siemens, you know.
Yes,
So
we are. So it's just amazing.
it's
It's
just amazing.
just
Yeah.
amazing that two people, because normally that doesn't happen.
No, no, no.
You might find people say, "Oh, she looks like so and so," but to have the similar spirit that somebody can connect the two of you just by your spirit,
Just by your spirit, yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. But I want to get into Beverly because we've spoken about me. We've spoken about,
We're breaking the ice.
and we're gonna talk to Beverly. I want to say good afternoon to Amanda Scotland, who's also joining us, and Saran, who's also on, and Nick Roye, who's also tuned in. I want to say thank you so very much, guys, for coming on. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us, and we really appreciate you for being here. I just want to get it started by first of all asking Beverly, who really is Beverly? If somebody were to ask you, who are you, Beverly? What would you say to them?
Thank you for that question, because sometimes I ask people that question and they tend to talk about what they do in terms of their role. But these are just roles we keep. But if somebody asks me who is Beverly, I am a passionate person. I'm passionate about people, dedicated, loving. Um, I love people, my family. I'm a caring, giving person, and driven. I'm result oriented and driven for whatever is goal I set my mind to. But in all, I'm just this loving, caring person, down to earth, humble, love to help people. That's it.
And tell us a little bit about growing up. Where were you born and where were you raised?
I grew up in Penville. I was born in Penville, my mom and my dad. And the earlier part of my years, I grew up with my grandparents. I'm the first grandchild. So I grew up with my parents in Upper Penville. And I think these were the happiest years of my life. The first 10 years of my life were the happiest years of my life. And so after I moved with my mom after she got married, and then so the attachment I had with my grandmother and my grandfather, it took me a very long time to get over it. I am not even sure if I ever really gotten over it because I know how to live in a new environment. It was always me and my brother and my mother. So now there was somebody else in the midst, and I had to figure out, okay, how do I fit in all this? But I see myself as a fighter. So regardless of what life throws at me, I always get a way to get over it. And so the rest, for my teenage years, despite all the different struggles and difficulties I went through, I was always able to overcome. And I remember one time my son looked at me and he called me the beaver. And I asked him, why did he compare me to the beaver? Because no, that's how I'm called. I'm called Bever. So anytime I'm walking in Roseau and somebody said Bever, I'm like, I know that person is either from Penville, Bakers, or Tebow. Nobody calls me Bever if they're not from that area. And he said, well, the beaver actually, they cut wood, and regardless, they're persistent in whatever it is that they're doing. So I was happy that he was able to see that kind of characteristics in me. So basically, growing up, it was fun. My fun way was school, book, church, but that was my fun way. And I never really played with friends, but I love being among the elderly. So I grew up with a lot of the elderly people. I'd go visit their home, clean their house, comb their hair, listen to their stories. So I didn't really grow up with people my age, hanging out with people my age. I always grew up with people older than my age. So my grandmother would tell me, "Ou vieux avant jeune," you know. So that was it growing up for me.
you you are a mom.
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about motherhood and tell us about your kid.
Well, I'll tell you something. Everything comes with a instruction guide, except motherhood. So obviously, I try to raise my children, especially the way that we were raised, because that's what we were taught. We didn't have a book, so whatever was passed on to us, that's what we were taught. So growing up, you have to go to church, you have to do your schoolwork, you have to, you cannot. My parents always would tell you, okay, who to hang out with, so you grow up suspicious. Okay, don't hang out with that person, don't hang out with that person. But it wasn't very easy for the first one. So she was like the sandpaper. She really gave me a run for my life, I can tell you. So then when my son came, I kind of said, okay, well, I made mistakes with the first one. So with every child, I kind of they refine me because I realized, okay, I can't make this mistake with this one. But the thing about it, they were all unique and they are all different. They all have their personality. So my son was a little bit more compliant than Chevy. So it was kind of easier for me to get him to kind of, okay, do certain things. But Chevy just wanted her own way. And then she was just, that's what I want. If I bounce my head, that's okay. I'll wipe it off. And all that was to protect them from not getting hurt, but they had to learn their lesson. And so with every child, it was different. And looking back now, I'm thankful to them because they helped me. The challenges that I faced with them helped me to become a better mother, helped me to become a better person. And they helped me to have to know what it is to have fun. My children taught me how to have fun because we would be driving and they would see a cat and a dog on the side of the road. And they would make an entire movie. you know, they would laugh at anything. They would laugh at anything. And I was always so, let's just get on with it. And then so they taught me how to have fun and to laugh. So that was just the fun of my motherhood. And now that they have grown up and I don't have them around like I used to have, I was like, wow, I wish I wasn't so hard earlier on. But I'm enjoying the fun part I had with them. I'm really just focusing on that fun part instead of all the mistakes that I made.
Well, as you said, motherhood doesn't come with a manual. So I'm sure you're not the only one who's made mistakes, and you will not be the only one.
Yeah.
One thing I want to add. I was in a play with your son. Now we've been rehearsing for months, and I don't know like who he is. Like I just know him as one of the characters in the play, right? We were rehearsing and everything, and then when it came down to almost, I think it was close to when we were supposed to actually perform live on stage. It was going through the program.
Yeah.
I saw his name. He's like his last name, and I was like, where are you from? And he goes, I'm from Roseau.
Yeah, that's it.
No, your last name. Like your last name is from the north. Like that's where most of the people I know who are Leblancs are from. He goes, oh, Leon is my dad. I go, who's your dad? I'm like, I should have figured that out, like because I mean he looks, but it just never dawned on me until like forever. It took forever.
Yeah, again, you see the different personality. It would be easier to pick up who Chevy was, but he's so much different. So you see, they all are different. Yes, completely. Yep.
Chalk and cheese.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I want to go back to your youth. As a young person, what did you want to be?
I was born a teacher.
Really?
Yeah.
So you decided from the time you were a kid, I wanted to.
It was not even a decision. It was just like I came on this earth with this gift. I was just endowed with it from heaven, and I just knew that I always wanted to be a teacher, and I never turned back. I've always known that when I would go to school, I mean, I went to preschool from 2.5 years because everybody was going to school. And I mean, my preschool teacher was not living very far from us. So she would take me to school with her at the preschool. And whatever it is I learned when I come back, then my students were the stones, the pillars of the house, the trees, whatever I found that I would teach. And then from Sunday school, the children in the neighborhood, and they were all bigger than me, but I would teach them Sunday school, whether it's a Bible story, whether it's a song. So it's something that has always been part of me, being an educator, being someone to impact lives. And so, although I am not in the classroom like I used to be before, but I still see myself as an educator. It's just that the whole career has evolved. But I always knew I can't be anything else more than that. That's just part of who I am.
So you were not influenced.
No, nobody
You
influenced
were
me.
not mentored to be in a team.
No.
It's something that you were born with.
Yeah, I was born with it.
Like I was born to talk.
Yes. Yes. I didn't have to practice, but it just comes naturally. It just comes naturally.
Tell us about teaching. How did you actually start teaching?
Okay, well, as I told you, I started teaching very young. The stones, the pillars.
But the real people. But the real actual
But the real people started when, well, from Sunday school in church.
Mm-hmm.
But I started my career as a teacher in 1989 at the Roseau Mixed Infant School. Um, I applied to, I mean, after I left high school, I didn't go to college. So I spent sometimes in Penville working in a shop. And some people thought I didn't do very well in CXC, but you know, it is at that time only a chosen few would go to the college. And so I moved to town and I was working at Mr. Clean's Laundry in Federation Drive. And I remember persons would look at me and were like, oh, she didn't do very well at school. If she had done very well at school, she wouldn't be working in a laundry. But I had my CXC subjects. But I remember there's a scripture my mom always taught us when we were growing up. If you are faithful in the little, God will make you ruler in the big. So I would say, Lord, you know that's what I want to be, but that's what I have now. So I want to be faithful in it. And when they called me from the Ministry of Education, there was an opening at the St. Martin Primary School. But they asked me if I was a Roman Catholic. I told them no. So then obviously I didn't get to go there. And but on October 2nd, 1989, I was called to the Roseau Mixed Infant School. That's where the health center is right now. So they had the infant section, grade 1, 2, and 3. So that's where I started in grade 2. And I from 1989 to 1990, and it wasn't a burden. The teachers gave me the outline what to teach, and then that was it. And after my year ended, there was no space in town. So I remember the education officer, she came and she said, Beverly, we have no place in town to place you, but we have one space, and that's in the Dragon Mouth. So I'm like, where's the Dragon Mouth? And she said, Maho. I said, send me there. And she looked at me because, I've never been a big person. I was this tiny little thing, want to go to the Dragon Mouth. And she said, you sure? I said, yes, send me there. I'll go. And because I just wanted to teach. I didn't care where they sent me. I just wanted to teach. And I know I just had to fulfill that calling. And I will tell somebody from 1990 to 1998, I will never forget these 8 years of my teaching career. These were the best years of my teaching career. Wow. And that Dragon Mouth was in Maho.
What about it was so?
Well, you see, the thing about it is you have some communities where parents come to the school to beat up teachers. And that was why they call it the Dragon Mouth. You don't touch a child and they will come to you. And so I remembered when they will come and fight you. I mean, these things used to go along. They stop, but then if that used to happen, they would come and they would curse you. They would just insult you. And I remembered when I entered my class the first day, all the parents wanted to come to find out, okay, who is going to teach the child? And I heard a lady say, "Who is that little girl listening to teach my child?" And she was standing by that window and she was carrying on. Now, she was huge. And this is the dragon mob. Nobody's going to beat me. So I went to the window and I said, you know what? You see that child you cursing me for and you want to insult me. One of those good days, you're going to come and ask me for help with that child. That's all I told her. Soft. I didn't go too close because I didn't want her to punch me. So, and that was it. And I mean, the only reason you know that I was a teacher in the class is because I didn't have a uniform. But I was the same size with the children in the class. I was 18. Yeah, I was 18. And on sports day, I wore my sports clothes, and we would go in the teaser. We would sit on the floor, on the ground. We would play, and that was it. We would have fun, and I enjoyed. I taught grade 2, then I taught grade 3, and I became part of the community. And one of the things I did is like, I mean, you just start teaching. I didn't have any money. People did. I was only know people realized the reason why I wasn't going on my 12 o'clock is because I had no money to pay bus. So my 12 o'clock would be spent going to the homes of the children that I taught. So I did a lot of home visits. And I think this is really what connected me with the community up to this very present moment. Up to this very present moment, I mean, the students that I taught, no matter where they meet me, miss, and these are my kids, my children. You know, and even those who I didn't teach, because we had some boys in Form 3 that would play cricket, but I would stay with them until the last ball was bowled and the last runs. So I supported them even if they were not in my class.
Wow.
And when I remember we used to have fruit day. So if they brought anything that wasn't a fruit, I would say, okay, well, I'm the custom officer. And you are not supposed to bring anything that's not a fruit today. So I'm the custom officer. So therefore, you have to leave it by me, because if you bring something illegal in the country, then the custom officer takes it. So, and I had different ways of encouraging them to stay in school. One of the things I remember, I was in grade 3 and I had a group of boys and they just didn't want to participate in the class. So I told them, at that time, we didn't have all these fancy vehicles we had. So we had the vans and the trucks and the buses. So I tell them, imagine the class as a truck. You can decide to sit at the front of the truck, in the middle of the truck, or on the tailboard. Now, if you sit on the tailboard of the truck, what do you think is going to happen? So they said, well, miss, it will pass on the stone and you'll fall out. So I said, well, you decide which part of the truck you want to sit. And if you want to sit at the front, you want to sit at the middle, or you want to sit at the end. If you sit at the back of the truck, then guess what's going to happen? And they were able to realize, okay, if I sit at the back of the classroom, if I do not put my best forward, if I do not do my homework, if I do not do my test, I'm going to fall out of school and I'm not going to be able to make a life for myself. So that was a way. So I wasn't really telling them, oh, you need to go to school. I would get all these creative ways to get them to understand the importance of going to school. And when I would meet, after I left Maho in 1998, actually I asked them to transfer me. And the reason why is because I remembered one time I came to school and I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I wasn't doing my lesson plan. I was like, that's not me. Because I like to do my lesson plan. I like to have my activities. So I went to the education officer and I asked them to transfer me. And now somebody may find, okay, well, you have a principal that really doesn't care. And you're going to a school where you have a strict principal. But I wasn't being challenged anymore in my career. And that's what I wanted to. I wanted to be a better teacher. I think I had given all I could at that particular school. So I was transferred to the Goodwill Primary School. And when I had a grade 3, And I had this boy in my class, and then the teachers, his former teachers, came talking to me and said, Miss, please, I want to find out about my students for myself. Because a lot of times teachers will tell you things about your students, and you come with this preconceived idea, and you never discover the students for themselves. And so, yes, he was a big boy to be in grade 3. He had certain issues, but he had certain struggles. So I worked in the afternoon. So by 4:30, I said I'm not doing any teaching after 4:30. But I grouped them in with the brighter ones, with the weaker ones, and they knew exactly where the activity cards were. So I had control over my class, and I knew what I wanted from my students. And then so I spent these 3 years at the Goodwill Primary School. And I remembered when I went to study in 2001, and the common entrance results came out. And my mom called me and she said, "Your boy passed." I'm like, "My boy passed?" She told me, "Yes, your child passed." and I mean, what it was not a scary pass. It was not a universal secondary education. It was a pass, because universal secondary education came later on. Yeah. But he actually passed.
He passed.
He passed, and I lied at bed in New York, and I cried and I say, "Thank God." And so my teaching career has been very successful. When I came back,
before we talk about you left Germany because you taught at primary, you taught at primary, and now you decided you want to go and study. First of all, what made you want to go and pursue a formal education or a tertiary education in education?
Well, I wanted to sharpen my skills. I wanted to be better at I knew I was good, but you have good, better, best. And then I wanted to sharpen. And secondly, all my life, from Rosa Mixed Infant to Maho to Goodwill Primary School, I taught a specific group of children. And these were the children I knew if they were not given the kind of attention, they would fall through the cracks. I always had the weaker group. And then so, I pulled things from my heart, and then as I said, I think I was, because I was born, it just came naturally. But I wanted to do better for them. So at that point in my life, I decided I had to leave. And it was not just, my leaving was not just for my education, but also for my own personal development. And I always say, if I had not left the time that I did because of what was happening in my life personally, if I had not left, I would not be where I am today, and probably I would not be as sane as I am now. So that's for another interview.
No, you are very passionate about early childhood education, children with disabilities, etc. Tell us a little bit about that. Where did that come? Because you were not teaching Maho and these places children with disabilities.
Yes, I was.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. You see, I just want to clear the air with children. When people hear children with disabilities, they only look for those on the wheelchair. Or they would look for those who have visible signs probably of Down syndrome. But the thing about it, you have the visible disabilities and you have the invisible ones. It's very easy to identify somebody in a wheelchair. Now, that person has a physical disability, but their physical disability doesn't affect their learning.
True. Very.
Okay? Now, you have some children who, either because of the environment or what, they don't grasp certain concepts. So it is important to understand the learning styles of the students so you can know how to make the accommodations and the modifications to learn, because every child can learn. The thing about it is that we want to teach children how we learn, but we don't want to teach them how they learn. So the truth of the matter, if we have to look at it, we're the one who are disabled because we want to fit them in our own box. but they have their learning style, and we have to figure them out to get them to learn the information. So the children that I taught, they had difficulty, they had learning disabilities because they couldn't read. They had difficulty processing info instructions because you will give you may we have children, you give them three, you give them a routine instruction, you give them three things to do. Pick up your pencil, open your book, look at the board. The only thing they remember was the last one you told them, because it takes time for them to process all that information. And then so we don't understand and we start to yell at them and we start to tell them things. And sometimes we tell them things about even their mother. Oh, I understand because you that person is your, and we tell them things about their whole, and we what we do now, what we do, we lower their self-esteem, we shut them down, and then they develop what is called learn helplessness because mommy tell me I cannot learn, daddy tell me I'll not do anything, and you telling me the same thing. So probably it's true, and they believe it. So when I left to go to study, everybody else went to do business and computer. It was not, it was they were going to study things that could make money for them. I've always wanted to, my goal in life is to make a difference in the life of people. And that is why my personal motto is empowering lives, impacting others to pursue passion. That's my own personal motto. So it was not about if you're going to look for money, teaching is not a place where you're going to look for money. You're not, I mean, you're just not going to make money. But at the end of the day, when you look back, you can see success. And to me, if I can take a child from 0 to 50%, that's a lot. So I went to study special education because in my teaching career, I realized there are some students who fall through the cracks. And I wanted to be able to improve. And I always say, I know I cannot save everybody, but I always say, if not all, but one. And if I can make a difference in the life of one child, then I would have succeeded as a teacher. And so that's why I went to do special education. No, I just wanted to do my bachelor's. And when I completed my bachelor's, because I had done I had my teacher training certificate, I had done something in UE, I actually got 60 transfer credits. So I finished my bachelor's in 2.5 years. So I had a year and a half. And they were just rolling out the master's program in early childhood special education. I said, why not do it? So I'll be qualified from early childhood all the way to secondary school. So which means I can actually work in any education setting. It's about making yourself marketable, right?
Very true.
Correct. And then so I did early childhood special education where I had the opportunity to work in an inclusive setting with children with disabilities and and then it opened my eyes to so many other categories of disabilities and how to cope with them, how to deal with the different behaviors, how to work with their families. And so while I was up there, I decided, wow, when I go back home, I'm going to open a school. And you know how excited you get when you come and you just want to just get things done. It wasn't easy. It has been an uphill battle, but I'm still holding on to the fight.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's lovely. You just mentioned you opened a school.
Yeah.
So you are the director of the Achievement Learning Center in Rizzo. I've actually visited the school a few times.
Yes.
Why did you decide that, hey, I'm going to this school? I mean, I know you said when you left university you wanted to come back and you wanted to open a school. Why did you decide where you decided to open it? You know, your entire structure, how you were going to do it. Why exactly you decided to do that?
Okay. When I came back down, everybody came down with pretty shoes and pretty clothes. I came down with everything to start the school, from the maths to the books to the markers to the crayons, everything. Everything I just went to, I bought everything for the school. And so I came back in 2005, and I was excited. I just thought things were just going to work out for me, but it didn't. So I got kind of discouraged. And I remember in 2006, I wrote a letter. I wrote a letter to the Ministry of Education. I wrote a letter. And I was putting my shoe. The Lord said, Joseph never defended himself. So I tore up the letter. And I lay on the floor in my room and I was praying, and the Lord started to give me certain things about the school, and I wrote it down. I know I wanted to write this, go down, I wanted to open this school. That's all I know. I wrote down the name of the school and what he was going to do, and then, but life happened. Not the way I planned. What I came back to is not what I expected. So things just kind of happened. And one afternoon I was ready to go to work, and then Joel Austin was preaching, and he was talking about keeping the dream alive. And it doesn't matter what happened, that dream that you had, you have to revisit it. So I went in my room, I took the book, I opened it on the floor in my living room. I knelt right there while he was saying the prayer. And I said, Lord, I'm giving you back that dream. And I went to work. And the secretary at work, I think I was at the college that time. I just started the college in 2010. And the secretary said, Beverly, I'm studying my school. I said, you studying your school? Tell me. I said, what's your school name? She said, Achievement Learning Center. I said, but where do you have that school? She said, Cox Street. I said, oh, you don't have that school? But actually, she had a school similar to what BTC has. So I said, I'll buy it. I had no idea I was getting money, but I just said, I'll buy it. So I bought the school. We came up with an agreement, so I would pay her until, I paid everything. And at that time, she was located in Cork Street. And I was there for a few weeks, and I was like, God, I can't stay there. How can I be in a school? I have to keep the door closed. People are smoking outside. And then I just decided, okay, I need to get a space. So my son was with me. I said, we are going to look for a space. So when I made the first round, I passed in Portersville. I saw the place empty. I went again. I saw it empty. When the third time, I said, Father, I claim that place in Jesus' name. And I remember there was a preschool there. So I tried to find out who it was. And I went to the landlord. Now, the landlord is Miss Dupini, Silma Dupini. And then when I explained to her, she said, so many people are coming to me for that place, but I like what you're going to do with it, so I'll give it to you. And so I keep telling people, God kicks me into purpose. There were a lot of things that happened in my life that caused me to be at the state college at the time that I was there. So I could meet that young lady, so I could get myself on track. So when I bought the school, I kind of faced all the program that she was doing. And then I started my school with 3 students.
Wow.
I had a student who was with dyslexic, learning disability. He was 11 years old in a grade 3. I had another one who was in second form in a secondary school, but functioning at grade 4 and grade 5. And another one, and then we started. And every year we grew. We have had our challenges, and I just keep reminding God that you gave me the dream, you have to make the provision. So we have been running by faith, and He has been faithful. So today, and we have seen our students. One of the boy who came to us from second form, he completed his CCSLC, so he has a certificate certifying that he has he's completed secondary school education. And we've seen students come here who had no language, and they have language. We have seen them come with tantrums, with anger, with all sorts of issues, and then we have seen success. So this is one of the things that I keep pressing for. I will never stop advocating for children with disabilities or persons with disabilities, because despite their abilities, they can function in society. Whereas they may not be able to get CXTs, but there are functional skills that they need. And then these are some. So those who can function academically, we push them, but we work with them at their level, at the individual level, and then we teach them life skills, washing the dishes, cleaning the school, the yard, with the classroom, learning to eat properly, etiquette, learning to get along with their friends, learning how to introduce themselves to strangers when they come to school. So, yeah.
Wow. We've come to the half section of the program. We have so many more questions. I have so many more questions for Beverly. And if you have your questions, don't forget you can drop it in the box below. We have people coming in, like Lisa is saying, nice Beva. Of course, she's a Jamaica. She calls you Beva. Not seen her in a long time. Lovely ladies. We have a few people, saying hi and shouting out the program. I want to remind you, if you're logged on right now, hit the share button. Make sure you hit the share button so that your friend or a friend of a friend or friend of a friend of a friend can also enjoy the video along with you. And if you're unable to actually complete viewing of the video for whatever reason, or you probably just want to come back on and listen or view the video, you can do so in 24 hours. It will be up on my website. That is jaeljoseph.com/PLOG. You can just go on there. You can see the video. It's the live video of the show. And you can also get access to the downloadable link where you can download it, because some people have, again, data issues. So you can download it when you're in Wi-Fi and listen to it again. So you are able to do that on the site. So I want to encourage you, make sure you click the share button. Before we continue, I also want to shout out my girl, Marie Claire, who's locked in New York. And I want to remind you guys that she is going to be performing in New York City at Joe's Pub. That's on Saturday, August the 4th. So if you are Dominican or an island person who likes to support other island people, go out to Joe's Pub. That is, of course, in New York City, and show your support to Marie Claire. Marie Claire is an amazing singer, amazing vocalist. She's going to be out at Joe's Pub. That is on August the 4th from 7 p.m. I will post the details of that on my timeline so you can get into that. We're continuing to talk with Beverly Leblanc, who is locked in with us from Dominica, and I don't want forever our service to go down for whatever reason, because
please stay on.
So we really want to get this thing going. So let's get it going. Beverly, you work with 2 sets of children or students on a daily basis.
Yes.
With your being the director of the Achievement Learning Center with special disabilities or special learning needs. And then you have the role where you are the Dean of your Student Affairs and International Services at the Dominica State College, where you have to deal with
the bigger ones.
Because from the time they come out of high school, they're big.
They're big. Right? Oh, yeah. They're big.
Man and big man. You have to deal with these 2 different students on a daily basis. How are you able to switch the roles when you're facing different challenges?
If you remember when I told you earlier on, my children kind of they like the sandpaper, and so when I meet these children, I just say, Lord, I thank you for the difficulty they made me experience. It was a learning process for me, and it can be challenging. There's sometimes you just have to know to pick your battles. I realize they are adults, and then we cannot treat them as children. So in a case where they would come and the boys would have their pants way down and you see the boxer shorts, I'll just go stand next to them and whisper in the ears, because you don't want to embarrass them in front of their friends because they're teenagers. Mm-hmm. If I'm teaching a class and then the girls have their shirt and it's caught and all their butts showing out there, I'll just go sit down next to them. I'll put mine on there. I'll talk to them. I'll say, boy, I like your hairstyle. And then and I'll just pull the shirt down. And I was like, oh my God. But nobody knows what I did, because you have to make sure you keep them, you'll help them to maintain their self-esteem. Yes. And when I make myself very open to them, so if they have any issues, they come and they talk to me and I listen to them, not telling them what to do. And they come to me depending on what it is. I refer them to where if they have an issue with their Auburn, they need some class to register. I refer them to the registrar's office. If they have an issue with um, their bill, I send them to the bursar office. But you see the thing about it, whereas in the primary school or in the secondary school, it's a little bit more structured because you have a timetable and they're there all the time. They're not always there all the time. So when they come, when I meet them, we chat, and I kind of chat with them based on where they come from or their language, whatever they use. So, for example, they were playing derby. After the hurricane, we didn't really have an activity period like we would normally have, but they had a tent. We had two tents. So eventually they had one tent for playing their dominoes. So they would play very, very loud. So I would go to them and talk to them and let them know I'm happy that you all are there playing the domino, but please, be quiet. And if you all do not do it, I will. So I use a kind of muddy. I tell them I will shut it down, like on my Tyler Perry. And then they laugh, but at the same time, I just kind of, because you have to build rapport with them, because then you cannot just yell at them, because then they're just going to rebel. And then so it's the thing about it, I'm very adaptable. So I tell people I have my moments. When I have to be serious, I'm serious. When I have to be fun, I'm be fun. I just know the place and time for everything. So that's basically I sometimes it's depending on what I have to do. If they're playing cricket, I go to the park. I try those that I know and I know that they have certain talents. I try to push them into clubs and get them involved in activities. So it's just a matter of treating each student based on their personality. So it takes time. There's some that just wouldn't come, or there's somebody that just decide, okay, well, I'll hang out with that person. So it's just a matter of learning them, learning their personality and how to deal with them.
Now, you are, of course, an educator, which we've established, and you have just come from dealing with a major hurricane where kids have to go back to school, all of those things are happening. Plus, you have a big role as the dean of your department, a role already that is a challenge on its own.
Yes.
How has it been for you? Because you just mentioned, the hurricane and what you guys do. Give me a little detail. How has it been for you guys, post Maria, in terms of getting back, on track? What sort of challenges have you guys faced?
It had I think after Maria, we had to take a collective approach. It was not like every department could operate individual on their own. We had to combine our resources. We couldn't really work in fragments. It couldn't be student affairs doing their own thing. So we worked in terms of getting the students back. We had a different schedule. So we had to kind of do the schedule all over again. And so the registrar's office was really busy in doing that. But what we did from Students Affairs, we supported that office. On the other hand, what we did was, in terms of finding our students, it was not very easy to find them where they are because of the roads and telephone. And so when they came in, we asked them to fill in a relief form. What is it that they needed? And then so I went on looking for water. I didn't mind going on the port looking for water, go begging, go looking for relief foods. We got quite a bit of foods and clothing. And so that was our part in terms of getting them something so that when they came back to school, they would get it. And we supported the registrar's office in terms of we had no electricity. We had no internet. I mean, yes, we had the motor, but we had the generator. So the majority of the registered staff operated in different out of campus, either up to the hospital. So the role that we played was helping the students to make the transition. So when they came in, we took their names and then we would inform those in the registrar's office wherever they were working. So these are the students who came to say, well, they're coming back to school. Wow. So basically that is how we did it. And then so we started on November 6th with very few classes. So we could only take the second year students. And then the first year students were not in school. So from the student affairs, what we did was trying to engage them involuntary activities. Now, this kind of fell in it fell right in time for us because we had just completed our implementation plan for the department. So one of these was student engagement because we have the C goals: support, engage, and empower. That's what our goals are from student affairs. So we were able to we tried to utilize the first years we could find to volunteer in different areas. And we tie it into what we are now going to have called a co-curricular record. So when the students would have graduated, they would have graduated with an academic record as well as a co-curricular record, which will show that they are not they have their GPA, but they have been involved in community service, which is something a lot of universities are looking for. So Maria kind of helped us to jumpstart our programs that we had, even if not at the wide scale that we wanted to, but we were able to implement some aspect of our implementation plan.
So you can comfortably say you are resilient.
Yes. Yes, we are. And then so when the first years came, we although we had a skeletal schedule, but I think we were able to bounce back without any glitches. The students agreed well. There would not be enough. There were not internet, so the lecturers had now to change their ways of assessing the students.
Wow.
You had to change, and this is all about accommodation. And this is basically, it was to us a temporary disability because then you had certain situation that impeded the way that you would normally do things. And that is one of the things as an educator, you have to be flexible. Because even if you have
stressed out,
you have to
ever feel stressed?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I never felt stressed out. I'm very adaptable. I mean, imagine when we came and we had to clean the stuff, I had no problem in cooking the food in the smoke for the teachers. I did that. Cooking food. So it was, you see people, I think it allows us to see people in different roles, because when you come on a normal time, you go to your office, you sit in your office. If you don't have anything to tell somebody, you just do what you have to do and you go home. But at that time, everybody was at the same level. So we just had to just kind of fit where we had to fit. So I never felt stressed out during that time.
You have your own major after as well. But in general, what the challenges do you see children facing in Dominica?
I think one of our major challenges that we face is in terms of making our education system relevant. And I will say that because I had a conversation with a businessman. He was like, what is it that he asked me a question, what are we doing up there? In the sense that when the students come from college, yes, they have this GPA, but they cannot function in society. And I think in the terms of having the soft skills, so we need to review our curriculum and get a way to have an integrated approach to our curriculum where we can provide the soft skills, because no one can actually probably teach you how to. There are certain things you just have to learn, but you can create the experiences. And in teaching, you have what is called teachable moments, where something happened that you did not expect, but you turn it into a teachable moment where the students can actually analyze and think critically. And this is one we need to expose our students to be able to think critically and analytically. Think outside of the box.
It's funny you say that because my son is in the system here, and he, of course, had part of school in Dominica. And I remember, having to go to parent-teacher night, and the teacher said to me, he is so much all about his books that he doesn't socialize with other kids in the class. And it's not that he does not want to socialize. He's his mother's child, like he's Mr. Chatty. But he has ingrained in him that he has to pay attention. He has to do this. He's almost like a robot.
Yeah.
In the class. trying to take in everything that he needs to take in. And he's only 6, at such a small, a tender age, and he totally does not know how to interact with children. And even like today, I would ask him, what do you remember any students from your class? Do you remember anybody? And he can't give me anybody's names. Like, it's not that he, it's like he had almost no interest in any of the students. And that makes no sense. I find it very antisocial.
Yep.
You know,
And it's
like,
really important to develop their social skills. And that is what I'm telling you. Observation is one of the greatest way to assess children. And when you observe those things, what you do as a teacher is you create the opportunity. So if he likes books, he likes to read. So the teacher needs to put the books on the floor and get all the other children to come and sit, and that may encourage him to come and join.
well,
Because
I'm not saying this to even like say anything bad about the teacher.
no, I'm just saying what I'm saying is like, and it is a very good thing. So it's not anything bad about the teacher. I'm just saying that is why we as teachers, when we see that, we have to almost create an enabling environment.
Well,
But
it's gonna be very hard.
academic. We know it's academic. Everything is academically driven.
It's gonna be very hard for you guys to do it because you work on such a short time span,
That is the other thing.
and you have so much is thrown at you that you have to go by.
And you have to be accountable to the curriculum. Then you have common entrance, and you have CXC, and you have A-level, because everything is academically driven.
Yeah,
But
that makes it definitely difficult to actually have for a child to have a social life at school, because at the end of the day, when they come for the 5 hours, it's boom, boom, boom. When you have your timeline. I remember, going to parent teacher, in Dominica, and saying, okay, he has to make sure he over the summer work with him on this. You have to make sure, because when the evaluator came to evaluate them, for example, on their ABCs, and they were showing them their ABCs and stuff, he's supposed to say it after 1 second. And I'm just like, I don't understand that.
how old was he?
Like 5 or 4. Like I don't not that because my argument is that it's not that he doesn't know his alphabet, but why does he have to say it in a second?
In a second, yep.
Why, when you point it out, he must know, he must be able to in a second? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, what if he doesn't want to say it in a second?
And what if he just in a mood and he just decide? Because children, when the children are being assessed, they're just totally different.
It's a stranger too. Like,
And
it's
exactly
that they're not accustomed to, and I'm just supposed to answer you. And I remember he said to me, "Mommy, stranger danger."
Yep. But we have to mix it. And I mean, the thing about it, I know what I mean. I grew up we grew up in Penville, and it's just a few persons who made it to secondary school. There was a time when not one child from Penville was passing to secondary school. It was always Bakers. Penville and Thibault, we just wasn't coming up on the map at all. And then so when I was growing up, I was like, this is not going to be me. So I was book, and church. That's my life. Mm-hmm. And then so because I have to pass and I have to go to secondary school. And when I was in secondary school, it was the same thing. I was like, okay, everybody else, when they get to fourth form, they double, but this is not going to be me. So I was like this. And but later on in my life, I realized I was smart, and I had all, but there was one aspect, because I was not balanced. There was one aspect of my life that I'm still struggling to get it balanced, because if I find myself not in a book or having fun, I start to feel guilty, because I'm not supposed. It's like, because that is how I train myself, and I realize that is why every time I do sessions with parents on early childhood, I keep telling them, you have to realize there are other domains of development. It's not just the cognitive domain. You have the social, you have the affective, you have the aesthetic, you have the language, you have the physical. And if you just focus on just the cognitive domain of the child without teaching the child how to share, how to have friends, how to interact, how to appreciate nature, how to appreciate beauty, then you're going to have a nerd.
I know.
That out of my personal experience, not just out of book knowledge, but of my personal experience growing up, because I'm telling, I mean, even now, I finished a program in training and development, a master's in training and development in 2016. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. Until last year, I saw a certificate and I'm at it. And my mommy said, me, Beverly, your brain is tired. And then my niece said, but granny, auntie, you just like an addict. You're addicted. You're just like the drug addicts. You're addicted to books. I'm like, Lord, that I'm a paro for books, you know. But if you think about it, it's like I always want to learn, but at the end of the day, you need to strike that balance. And this is one of the things I always tell you: have to strike that balance. You have to have. So at our school, at the Achievement Learning Center, when we came back after Maria, we had to do a lot of restructuring. So we did all our structured activities before lunch. So after lunch, we have free time. The children, if they want to go in the rocking boat, if they want to look at a movie, and it allows the teachers to supervise them, but at the same time interact with each other. Because if you're just at it all the time, then you're going to be drained, you're going to be tired, and you're not going to be good to anybody. So you have to have. I can't believe I'm talking about balance. Oh my God, because I had to tell that to myself, and it's because I'm seeing the benefits now. It's like that's why this sermon I'm preaching right now: balance, balance, balance. Because I realize you can be so off balance that you can become so isolated from the real world and become very lonely.
Mm.
You can be an intelligent person, but at the same time, be very lonely because all you have is books, and then you have the information, but then so you cannot really have a conversation, because if they're not talking about something in books, then you can't even really talk about politics or anything else, because you just closed up in one particular area.
Mm. I know what you mean. Beverly, what are some of the things that are most important to you?
But I want
What are some of the things you would say that are most important to you?
my treasures, four of them.
Wow.
These, yeah, they keep me grounded. And a lot of times we probably wait for our children to maybe say, well, they're proud of us, but they keep me. I look back and I think of all of them, and every one of them served a purpose in my life. Every single one of them served a purpose in my life and made me into the person that I am today. And they they are very, very important to me. And I think the hardest part was last year for me when I had to leave, when I had to bring my last daughter to the States. We had never been separated. That child has been with me, and then but I had to take her back. And I'm glad I did it before Maria, because it would have been harder after Maria. But and I remembered being in JFK, and I'm sitting in the bathroom and I'm crying because I'm going back home to an empty house. And then the Lord said, your children are actually not lost without you. You are lost without them. I was like, wow. And so it took me a while to get adjusted to the fact that they're not with me, because my daughters are in the States and my sons live with their dad. Mm-hmm. So I'm just home. Yes, I see them, but they're not with me. But I am thankful to God for they being who they are, and they finding their own path. I never told any one of them what to do, what to choose, but I observed them when they were growing up, and I knew exactly what they would become based on what they really liked. So I trained them in that way. Mm-hmm. I trained them to be bodies. So they would look out for each other. So we had this tag team. And then so whenever I would have, they always knew my schedule. And then so if I know I am going on the field at a particular time, I say, okay, well, guess what? You all have to take the bus because I'm going on the field. If I have to go in the afternoon, I would take them with me, pack their bags, put them in a room to do their homework. So they were always part of everything that I did. So they never had to wonder where I was and what I was doing. So they have always been part. I took them on radio programs with me when I had to do radio programs. I took them to my work with me, to functions, everything about my work. So up to this very present moment, if I have anything to do, I'll just they work with me.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very, very, very important to me. They're just very important.
I could challenge you, like you challenge my mom, and I ask her, who's your favorite?
You know what?
My
I had to ask this question, right? They had this thing on Facebook, siblings question, and they had all these questions. And now my son Gavin, he's the one. He's a ringleader, and he starts the trouble, but he pulls himself out faster than everybody else. Oh yes. And so he knows exactly what to answer and who is going to respond. So if he wants to get at Chevy, he knows exactly what to say. If he wants to get at Kelsey,
he doesn't let go anything.
Oh no, and she doesn't. If he wants to get at Kelsey, but the only one with Bryce just shuts you down. So if you're saying something and he was like, he'll just shut you down. So he doesn't really bother Bryce because he knows Bryce isn't going to take him on. But he knows how to prick his sisters. And so when things get hot, they will call and Chevy would say, Mom, you hear what Lily's saying? And he would say, Mom, you hear what Chevy's saying? I didn't hear what anybody says, so I'm just saying, behave yourself and stop fighting. So I love them for who they are, and I deal with them according to their knowledge. So they're just very important to me.
That's awesome.
Another thing that's very important to me is helping people. I like to see people succeed. So people may find like, okay, people may think I am pushing them, but I do not like to see people waste their abilities and their skills. So if I know you can do something, I'll be at you until you get it done. Mm-hmm. And so even here, my boys, I'll tell them, I am not giving you up to the streets. Because, so that's it. People are very important to me. I like to see people succeed. I like to help people. Maybe the way I do it sometimes is not always easily understood and maybe misunderstood, but that is just who I am. You don't always get returns, but anytime I can help somebody, I will do it. And if you ask me and I cannot do it, I'll say, okay, I cannot do it, but I will get someone who can help you. And this is one of the things I love to do. People are my passion. And then top of the list are my children.
Wow. That's beautiful. I have so many more questions, like so many. But I want to just on that note, on what you just said, what is, when you spoke about helping others, I just want to thank you publicly, because a few years ago I've been, I really wanted to start an aesthetics course in Dominica. As a matter of fact, when I got to Dominica, I was like, I'm opening school. That's what I was doing initially. But then I figured that it would be better if it's part of a school already.
Yeah.
So integrated into like the education system and stuff. And I sat down and I put together the entire course outline, which I did not have to do, which I learned later on.
Yes.
But I did everything from scratch and presented it to the state college, and Dr. Peters, he met with me and he was interested, and then it just seemed like it was not really going anywhere. And then you got a hold of it, and I remember when you called me and you're like Jael, and I'm like, I'm listening to the voice, and I know this voice, and when you call, because you call me Jael, and usually when people call me Jael, it's like it's people that don't really know me,
mm-hmm.
But when you talk to me, you don't really know me from Jael. People who know me would normally call me Shelly, right? And then I was like, who's calling? And you're like, I said, Bevo. Like, yeah, I said, this is Shelly. What is Shelly? And you know, because I think you were just looking at the document and
Yes,
connecting, to the person and
yes,
stuff,
yes.
not really realizing it was,
But you, yeah.
and you really wanted the program, to start off. I mean, you tried to get source funding and all of these things. I really want to thank you
You're
because
welcome.
I've presented so many things to not just the state college, but to the government and to so many different organizations. And I have been shut down. I have had ideas stolen from me. And you took on your own, and you really wanted it to work, I mean, I'm just happy that we got to reconnect again.
Yes, yes. I think it was a way of reconnecting. God knows how to reconnect people. So if that was the way I had to do it, that's just the way I had to do it.
Exactly. So I just want to thank you,
You're welcome.
for that, and thank you for showing the interest, and it really shows what type of person you are, that you really want to help people, because you are always on top of me,
Yeah, oh yes,
let's look for this and let's do this, and we need to
yes,
look
yes,
at this.
yes.
And I'm like, this one that work, man. I mean, I wanted it to happen, but it was stagnant for so long.
Yes.
When something stagnant, you kind of lose interest and you're on to the next project. But you were so interested and so intrigued by it,
Yeah,
and
because if something doesn't work, it will not be because you didn't try. You will know that you had given everything that you tried. Because even in terms of when I started as Dean of Student Affairs, um, I wanted to do something also for, because we want to give access to students. And then I really wanted to do something that children with disabilities could benefit. They may not be able to get an associate degree, but something similar to what you're offering. You study aesthetic, they can come to college and do something in manicure and pedicure.
yeah.
And I'm grateful today that we were able to establish, through my office, we're able to establish a memorandum of understanding with the College of the Rockies. And now there are two interns from international interns in Dominica. One is at my school, Achievement Learning Center, and one is at the State College. And we are trying now to connect different agencies and just to see how we can do research and to develop a program that will cater for children with different challenges. So those who can go on ahead and do something in general studies, but those who can do vocational training. So that is all about, remember I talking about having an integrated approach to the curriculum that everybody,
And
because,
benefit from it.
yeah, because we're talking about resilience, right?
Yeah, that was the thing. I found that, okay, because I remember, I think I probably always say that. When I said I was going into aesthetics, my father said to me, if I love you, like, like he was not impressed at all. And it wasn't that I wasn't book smart. It was just that I found I was more a creative person.
You're a more hands-on person.
Exactly. I like to go out and do it, and I can watch something. I'm like a sponge. I watch you do something once, and that's
You
it.
look just like that. Yeah.
Just like that. I mean, I self-taught myself Excel. I self-taught myself Microsoft Word. I self-taught myself QuickBooks. I taught myself a lot of stuff. I taught myself how to use Adobe Audition.
Because you're a kinesthetic learner, and there are students that are children that are like that.
And
And
I
we
tend to
yeah.
just pack them on the side and say,
Yep. Yep.
you, you don't want to become a doctor? Okay, next. You don't want to become a lawyer? Okay, next. And
But you see now, even Shell, right now we're talking about resilience and climate resilience, and Dominica being the first resilience country. But that resilience has to go beyond just having resilience infrastructure. What about the people? What about equipping them with the skills that when, because after Maria, we know the doctors were there for you, but they were tired. But you needed persons that were skilled in. Right now, we have to import workers because we don't have enough screen electricians and persons. But then the thing about it, these students who were more likely to do these subjects are those who are not able to concentrate on the Ohm's law and the chemistry and the all the ionic bonding. to them, they don't want bearings, but they just want to get their hands on something. And these are the students we have to cater for too.
I think the curriculum in Dominican is a lot of twitching
Yes, it is.
in terms of what they focus on, and especially since we've connected with so many different universities outside of Dominica, especially in the US, and they look at they're waiting for our students in Dominica to go through state college before they can come onto the university.
Yeah.
I found that our high school students are more than ready to go straight into universities. But because the system is not set up where you can get your credits or even your CSEC be accredited for you to move on.
You must go through college. You must finish the 2-year college.
Which makes no sense.
And you think about it, you have the 2+2 plan, because then if you finish state college and you get into a US college, then you only have 2 years to finish because you're already halfway done your bachelor's. But and again, you also have to look at the age. There's a particular age in which you can enter college in the US.
So think about it. So think about it, Bev. If you only need 2 years after completing 2 years of state college, why can't you go straight from high school? What is something is lacking in high school that does not allow you to connect straight to university? Because if I get from college, state college, and I only have to go 2 years, I don't have to go to 4 years, then there must be something right.
But most of the students who leave high school are 15, 16-year-olds.
But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I find it's either they tweak it where they leave you in high school longer, or where you're able to transition and go in, because a lot of us.
I think also we need, in our high school, we need to have what is called a college something plan, where you have this bridge that you can do some like a college advancement program, where you can actually, because we have fifth form, and our fifth form is 11th grade in the States, but remember they go up to 12th grade. You see, so I think we probably need to look at that.
There needs to be a bridge. There needs to be a bridge, yeah. And as well, make way for people to actually study skills program. And I think Dr. Peters is on the right track. He's really interested in it. I mean, I remember when he called me, or he contacted me, and he was interested in meeting with me and speaking with me, because he said, he always wanted to incorporate that and stuff.
But I think they are doing it because there's a general studies division. So I think from the general studies division, they might be offering it either through the short empowerment courses or as a course by itself. Okay. So I think eventually they will offer, maybe even if not the entire package, but they may just offer maybe the cosmetology or the different aspects of. But I think they have reviewed. They went back to it. So even if it's not in wholesale, but it was there, you had already done the work. So not a matter of implementing.
There are a lot of other skills courses. Carpentry. I remember growing up when the priests, in Vegas, they taught those guys. And a lot of those guys are in the States making thousands of dollars.
Exactly. That's for that. Crazy. And plumbing and things like that.
Specifically that I know is making, because I follow him on Instagram, and he has his big company on Instagram. And I'm looking back, and I'm like, he was taught carpentry by a priest.
Yeah. Yeah, the priest to have that in Vegas. Yeah.
Here he is in the States making, I know he's getting sponsored by DeWalt, these big companies are sponsoring this project. And I'm following on Facebook, and I'm saying to myself, why isn't the Caribbean, not just Dominica,
the Caribbean,
of incorporating skill set? Because we have all of these people coming from other countries, all these people who are not really Dominican or not really Caribbean people, and getting them back to our country to do what? Where we can actually teach these people right here.
I think even the mentality of our people too. We speak about it, but I'm not sure because even right now, after Hurricane Maria, we have a lot of work, but they don't show up for the work. They just sit there and wait for somebody to give them. So even the mentality of our people.
Challenges. I am not resilient.
Eh?
I am not resilient. Too many challenges. Too many challenges. You know, they need. I think our young people need to refocus, uh,
Yes.
and so that they can get ahead. I think a lot of that needs to happen. And I hope that a lot of things will change. Not just for instance. I know you're interested in building a lot of things, not just for the curriculum, but the special education and all of that. But as a whole, that
Yeah.
you I find they do things in Duvade. Like everything's being done
And
back.
in the right hand, again, as I said, we do things in fragments. And the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. We need to develop what is called a collaborative approach in doing things. Because if we do not do it, we're going to have a lot of replication, a lot of duplication, and mismanagement of resources. So now is the time for us to find out what everybody is doing and come together. It's not about being heroes or tapping on your chest. It's about development. So find out what the skills are. Do a skills audit of the persons that we have in Dominica that can do certain things in different departments, and
Bring them,
implement, bring them in,
bring
because
them.
we have, in terms of human resources, we are not lacking in that area. But I think what's happened is when it comes to our challenge has always been execution.
Mhm.
Because I will tell you, my fear, I mean, is we have this nice pronouncement and everybody wants to hear how we're going to do it. But we have to be very smart because they want to hear how we're going to do it. We're very excited. We say how we're going to do it. We never do it. They take our ideas and they do it. So we have, with all our desire to be climate resilient and want to get people to help us, they're helping themselves by we telling them how to do it, and they will use their resources and do it, and we
Yep,
will stay behind.
there.
Okay, wait, they call there cab with lache there.
Beverly, it's been a pleasure. I must say, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I mean, we've gone
You,
so far and over the time that we normally do. But I think it's because we know each other. I've known you, since I was a little girl and stuff, and I'm really appreciative of you coming on this show, and talking to us. I really think you. My mom used to always say this thing: "Many are called, few are chosen." She always said that.
yeah,
She said that about teaching. She said that about nursing. You
yeah.
know, and she used to say, "Oh, everybody, all of them want to go and do nursing, but they will not. They don't. Nobody want to lift up nobody and couldn't poo. Like,
Yes, I can imagine she would say that in Creole too.
so she says it's not that it's the job of a nurse to do, but you have to be prepared
Yes,
event that you do it and
you.
you
And if you're
diligent.
passionate about something and something happens that is not part of your job description, but because of your passion for it, you will do it anyway.
Exactly. All right. So that's where the many are called futures. And I really actually believe that you're called to be a teacher. It's been in your blood ever since your
Yes,
mom teacher, and I really see you doing amazing things wherever you go. If you do decide
thank
to
you.
go to Dominica, and I mean, like they say, uni toute éducation à l'été tout ça les n'importe quoi tu pas besoin en toi you understand, right?
Yes,
So you have with all that you have and all the potential that you have, so many big things. I saw just recently Dr. Shyla Esper is leaving, and I'm
yes,
like,
yes,
oh
yes.
here goes another one,
Yep.
and a lot of people might leave, and they will leave because not necessarily because they cannot stay or they don't want
But
to
the
stay, but
environment is not enabling. We need an enabling environment to keep our skilled people here.
they are forced. They're
Yes,
they're really forced
yes,
to leave. And I really appreciate you and your kids, your family, and thank you so very much for being on Capote. I hope that we're able to inspire somebody. I hope we're able to reach out to somebody. I hope in the very little things that you said or
yes.
the
Thank you.
found some meaning and was able to, use that to their own life. I'm grateful for having you here, and I'm grateful to all of you who came on, and who's still on. Actually, viewing the show. Janet Taylor is saying hi. A few people from the states are saying hi. They're on. I got my my show, I learned that my show is viewed and listened to the most in the United States of America.
Wow, congratulations. I'm really proud of you too, though, Shirley,
Yeah.
and you've always had that energy. And I remembered Mom and I were talking about it the other day when you danced that song by Cook Franklin, Stomp. And we were laughing, and we actually were making fun of Mysteries and how she responded to that dance. But the thing about it is that
The phrase that she used.
yes, and then but the thing about it, because of the way you think, you're a forward thinker, out of the box, and the I think that dance really kind of even revolutionized the whole dance ministry in the churches in Dominica. Because if we're gonna keep our young people, we have to give them something to keep them. And there's nothing wrong with the dance teacher. As Regenerative Singer says, I didn't stop dancing, I just changed partner. I always remember that dance stomp. And so we were laughing, and it was like, Mom, just laughing. I just remembering on Fifth Center joke. And Miss Teresa was our favorite person in Fifth Center.
Yeah, I was always a rebel with a cause.
Always.
Without a cause, a rebel with a cause.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. And then again, because you were not understood, you were pushed out.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it, because you were not understood. Because we can't be so narrow in our thinking, And but I'm really thankful for you having me. I really enjoyed being there, and as you said, I hope I was able to inspire somebody. And I just want to let you know that in your there are going to be a lot of rerouting in your destiny. But the thing about it is, the rerouting is all about building character. And one of the things I always say, ability will will take you to the top, but character is what going to keep you there, And so know that nothing that you've been in life, you've gone through in life is wasted. It's all about building character. It's all about the journey to maturity. And at the end, when you look back, you're going to say it was all worth it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for being on with me. Really do appreciate you. I never see you take a taste of your Cacoa to the Cacoa finish.
I'm gonna go Fort Metal, man.
That ain't Cacoa very jaju. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
All the fans and all the friends, and don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to check out Marie Claire. Don't forget to check out my website where you can get all the information on signing up for the costume. And in 24 hours, you can also log on and see the video of Beverly on with me, and as well as get the audio if you're in the car or if you're on the train. You can download it and listen to in the comfort of your own space. Thanks again to all those of you who tuned in to Cacoa Tea. I'm not sure if I'm going to be having a show next week. I have not released the show. I've been speaking to a guest, but the guest has been very up and uneven and all over the place with this. I'll actually be speaking to 2 guests, so we'll see what happens if there's a show next week. If not, until next time, have an awesome weekend, and thanks again so very much for tuning into Cacoa Tea. Love you guys. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Thank you for following us, and thank you, Shirley, for having me.
You're welcome.